All right, let's do this. We're going to break down everything you need to know for your Unit 6 Quiz 1. But honestly, this is way more than just a quiz review. Think of it as your first real guide to understanding how money works. How you get paid and what you do with it. So let's jump right in.
So, first question. You see a job posting for, say, $15 an hour. What does that actually mean for you over a whole year? How much money is that, really? This isn't just some abstract math problem. This is the stuff you'll use to figure out your future.
Okay, let's start at square one, decoding your paycheck. We've got to speak the language, right? These first few terms are the building blocks for everything else, so let's make sure we get them down cold. First up, gross pay. Now look at that word on the slide, before. That is the most important word here. Gross pay is the big number, the total amount you earned before anyone, like the government, takes a piece of it. It's your starting point for every single calculation. So, how do you get that gross pay? Well, it usually comes in one of two flavors. On the one hand, you've got hourly pay. You clock in, you clock out, you get paid for every single hour. It's cool because you can earn overtime, but your paycheck might be a little different each time. On the other hand, there's salary. That's a set amount for the whole year. Your paycheck is super predictable, which is great, but there's no such thing as overtime. Knowing which one you're dealing with is step one.
Now, let's get into one of the biggest parts of this quiz, overtime. Seriously, this is where so many people trip up, but we're going to make it super simple so you can nail it every time. You're going to see this phrase, time and a half, a lot. All it means is your hourly rate gets multiplied by 1.5. But, and this is the most important part, that higher pay rate is only for the extra hours you work, anything over 40. The number one mistake people make is applying that 1.5 to all their hours. Don't fall into that trap. So, to make sure you don't fall into that trap, just use this 4-step playbook every single time. First, figure out your pay for the regular 40 hours. Easy. Then, find your special overtime rate. Step 3, calculate what you earned for just the overtime hours. And finally, add your regular pay and your overtime pay together. That's it. It's a foolproof plan.
Let's walk through a real example. Someone works 44 hours at $15 an hour. Step 1, regular pay. That's the first 40 hours times 15, which gives us $600. Step 2, find the overtime rate. 15 times 1.5 is $22.50. Okay, step 3, they worked 4 hours of overtime, so we multiply that 4 by our new rate of $22.50 and we get $90. Final step, add them up. 600 plus 90 equals a total gross pay of $690. See, the steps keep it from getting confusing.
All right, now for the really practical stuff. Let's use what we know to figure out how to compare different job offers, because trust me, you'll be doing this for real one day. To compare different jobs, you have to get them to speak the same language. And that language is annual pay or how much you make in a year. This little chart right here, this is your magic decoder ring. You've got to know these numbers by heart. And pay super close attention to the two in the middle, biweekly and semi-monthly. Biweekly is every 2 weeks, 26 paychecks. Semi-monthly is twice a month, 24 paychecks. It's a classic trick question, and that tiny difference can totally change which job is better.
Let's put it to the test. Job A is already a yearly salary, so that's easy. For job B, we take the weekly pay and multiply by 52. For job C, we take the semi-monthly pay and multiply by 24. And look at that. Once you run the numbers, you can see that even though job A looked like a nice round number, job C actually pays the most per year. You just have to do the conversion to be sure.
But hold on a second, the paycheck isn't the whole story. Not even close. There's this other thing called benefits, and this is where the real value of a job can be hiding. So benefits are basically perks that have actual cash value. Think about it. If a company pays for your health insurance, that's thousands of dollars you don't have to spend. If they offer to match your retirement savings, they are literally giving you free money. Bonuses, travel, education, all of this stuff adds up and becomes part of your total compensation package. So how do we figure out a job's true value? It's actually a pretty simple 3-step process. First, you get the base annual salary, just like we did before. Second, you figure out the yearly value of every single benefit. And third, you just add it all together. The base salary plus all the benefits, that's the job's total annual value. All right, we've totally mastered how you earn money. Now let's switch gears to the last big topic on your quiz, how you manage it. Let's talk budgeting. When it comes to budgeting, there are really only 2 outcomes at the end of the month. If your income is bigger than your expenses,
You've got a surplus. You have money left over. That is the goal. But if your income is less than your expenses, you've got a deficit, which means you spent more money than you actually made. Making a budget is really just about making two lists. On one side, you list all the money coming in. On the other side, you list all the money going out. And here's a pro tip. See how savings is listed as an expense? That's a powerful idea called paying yourself first. The key is just to list everything out, then add up all your expenses to get one total number.
In this example, we take the total income and subtract the total expenses. The answer is $155. And because it's a positive number, that means this person has a monthly surplus. It really is that straightforward. Income minus expenses.
Okay, you now have all the concepts. You get it. So let's talk strategy. How do you go into this quiz feeling confident and walk out knowing you crushed it?
Well, the best way to feel confident is knowing how to catch your own mistakes. So before you hand that quiz in, how can you do a quick check to make sure your answers are solid?
Here are 3 quick sanity checks you can do. First, just ask yourself, does the answer make sense? If you calculate someone's annual salary and it's $10 million, you probably made a mistake. Second, double check that pay period number. Did you use 26 for biweekly, or did you accidentally use 24? And third, go back to any overtime problem and make absolutely sure you only use the 1.5 multiplier on the hours times over 40. I promise you, these 3 checks will catch almost all of the common mistakes.
So, here it is, your final study checklist. Before you start that quiz, just go down this list. Can you honestly say yes to every single one of these questions? If the answer is yes, you're not just ready to pass this thing, you're ready to ace it. You've totally got this. Good luck.